Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, drop some fire flames, some flaming hearts down in the comments and add your name so that I can greet you properly. If you are old friends and family and you've been rocking with me for a minute, welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate you spending your time with me today. So, today we'll be talking about something that will literally change how you experience love, how you experience money, and how you accept or experience support. And I'm happy to talk about this because this is one of the foundational parts of my nervous system journey and healing in my nervous system journey. And I think that it's going to, I know for sure that it's going to impact certain women who are ready to reclaim their power. And I don't mean power in a stereotypical way or a patriarchal way, but actual power, real power. So I'm welcoming you all to this conversation. Again, if you are new here, make sure you drop some flaming hearts down in the comments in your name so that I can greet you properly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to go ahead and get into it because I only have 30 minutes, maybe 45, to get this message out to you all. I don't want to be too lengthy, and I also want to get all of it through. So make sure that you are following me. If not, on YouTube especially, make sure that you're following me on YouTube because I post the replays to these videos or to these live streams on my YouTube channel. So that you don't miss out on anything. If you do miss or whatever, you make sure that you're checking it out on YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. So today I'm going to be talking about, and if you saw my last video, per usual, if you saw my last video that I posted prior to going live, go engage with that post, go engage with that video. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody who's coming in, go engage with that post and let me know that that's where you're coming from. And we're going to expand on that conversation. So the conversation is overperforming is blocking your magnetism. That's the topic for today. The why overperforming is blocking your magnetism. A lot of you are struggling to attract more, not because you're lazy, not because you need more strategies, not because you need more discipline. It's simply because you have not built the capacity. Hi, Cassandra. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have not built the capacity to be able to be magnetic, and that magnetism comes from you stopping your overperformance. And this again is going to help you experience love, money, and support completely different. You'll be able to see these different relationships completely different once you understand this concept. So the first part of this is identification. Let's be honest. We're gonna have a real conversation. I want y'all to be real with me. You feel like you have to do everything yourself because why? You feel like you have to do everything yourself because either you always are disappointed, or nobody ever does it the way that you want it to be done, or you never have the support or anybody actually reliable to actually get it done. Right? Which one of those? Which one is the reason why y'all feel like y'all have to do everything yourself? Let me know down in the comments which one which one of those reasons is it because you always disappointed? Is because you don't have any support? Is it because Mimi says she don't have no support? Is it because you people don't get it done the same way that you would get it done? Hey Jennifer, welcome love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Cassandra says she has no support. So whatever that reason may be, you feel like you have to do it yourself, right? But you get resentful when people don't show up. This is the person who you expect people to just show up and do things because you might be that fixer, And you might be either the oldest child, the oldest child syndrome, older sister syndrome. You might be were forced to become an adult quicker than you should have, or you might be just always disappointed because when you operate in overperforming, you operate in that way in your relationships because you want people to operate like that with you, and that's simply just not how life works. And it's also a form of, if we're being completely honest, it's a form of manipulation, and it's not necessarily fair to the people that you're expecting to show up for you, and it's also not fair to the people who want to show up for you, but because you don't have the capacity or the courage to ask for help because you're so used to doing it yourself, you don't allow the people in your circle to actually show up and support you the way you want to be supported. But you're exhausted and you can't slow down. You're exhausted because you have so much to do. Your to-do list is 5 days long. And it's like you never ever get caught up with anything because you're overworking yourself. You don't know how to delegate. You don't know how to ask for help. And because of that, you're attracting people who like to take. That's how the world works. It's a mirror. Hi, Yesenia Gonzalez. Did I say that correctly? Yesenia. Welcome, my love. Thank you for joining. If you are someone who likes to overperform, you're going to attract people who underperform because it mirrors that way. You're going to always attract your equal opposite. So I'm describing your shadow work. Ashe. So when you have this identity, when you have this understanding of your identity, you realize that it's you. It's not something outside of you. It's not the people's fault that's constantly taken from you. It's not the narcissist's fault who come and take advantage of you. It's not the people who do weaponize incompetence to make you show up even harder because they know that you're going to do. It's nobody's fault but yours because you don't really know who you are. But this is your pattern. We're identifying the pattern. We're identifying the trauma. This is not because you're too strong. It's because your body has learned that control is safety. It says the subconscious withholding. Exactly. It's a nervous system issue. Your subconscious, you've been programmed to feel like being in control. You could have been brought up with not having much control in how you were brought up, whether it's scarcity, moving from place to place, not having enough, whatever your parents did or didn't do to allow you to feel safe, you now overperform for that safety. And again, that's a survival mechanism. Overdoing things is a survival mechanism. Let me take it to part 2, the actual ancestral and nervous system root to this, the subconscious withholding that Yesenia is referring to. Some of this didn't start with you. Most of this did not start with you. It was inherited to you. Ancestral survival patterns, women who had to endure things, had to suffer, had to take what they can get for their family, all of that type of stuff, that was inherited to you. Anger showing up as control, criticism, or distance. This is something that your father or the masculine energy could have taught you. Your mom too, because women do this, especially with daughters. Your mom too. But the parent who shows up in being angry all the time, yelling all the time, things, you getting in trouble for being a child when something is out of place, or you break something, or you're doing something that is not in their realm of control. I had to grow up with a lot of that because I'm such a free spirit and I'm gonna do what I want to do. I had to deal with a lot of criticism and a lot of people isolating me or wanting to make an example out of me or wanting to humble me because I was determined to do things how I wanted, until they realized that you cannot control me. When they realized that they could not control me, this was probably when I went off to college, but all of my upbringing was forced to be in that type of control environment, or supposedly controlled environment. right? And then lastly, your nervous system is stuck in doing to survive. You haven't learned leisure. You haven't learned to just sit in your presence. You haven't learned to that it's okay to not do anything. My grandma, when she used to get home from work, we'll be chilling, we'll be chilling, cleaned up a little bit, just straightened up or whatever, done our homework, laid across the bed, watching TV or whatever, just me, my sister, my granddad. Soon as she get home, the whole mood, the whole atmosphere of the house would shift, because I know it ain't a spoon in this sink. I know y'all not sitting down, laying down, watching TV while I'm in here cooking. Like my grandma, she had the nervous system of always going, always doing. So when she saw somebody sitting down while she was up working, she felt like it was disrespectful for you to be, how dare you be laying down or sitting down or enjoying leisure when I still have to move and work. So I didn't inherit that at all. But my sister did. My sister is a busybody in that way. And so those are the people I was just working with. Yeah, like people feel like because they're doing something, you should be motivated to do it. And that's just not how I operate. I let people who like to work. I like to work when I feel like working, That's why I don't do 9 to 5s well, because I like to work when I'm moved to work. Nothing is going to force me out of my, not necessarily my comfort, but nothing needs to force me into doing something that my energy has not prepared for. Because those are the times where I need to be in that state is a time of survival. It's a time of survival. You do not need to be operating in your survival state. Most of the time, women, especially women of color, your nervous system, your baseline is survival. Your baseline is survival. And when your baseline is survival, it's like you're always running, always flying. Birds don't fly all the time. And people would say, why, if you have wings, why would you fly? Wouldn't you fly everywhere? Why are you walking right here? Why did you fly? Because I get tired of flying too. If that's the case, why don't you run everywhere? Why are you walking instead of running everywhere? You would get there faster if you ran. So why wouldn't you run everywhere? It's simply because those things are only necessary for certain things. You should not be in that state consistently all the time. Okay? So you're not in power, you're in protection when you feel like you're controlling environments, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your money, being in hustle culture, or feeling like you have to be somewhere, you're there because you have to be there. When you're not in power, you're not empowered. When you have that type of mentality, you're actually in protection mode. You're in a lack mode, you're in a scarcity mode. How does this block your love and your money? How does this block your love life and your money? Because it does both. You saying a split second you disrespect me by, period. So how does this block your love and your money? For one, you can't receive help when you're burnt out. You can't receive help when you're burnt out. You don't trust softness, so you repel provision. You don't trust. A lot of women feel like you're lazy if you are allowing yourself to be soft or to be taken care of or for people to help you. I struggled with this, actually. I really struggled with this for a while because I'm naturally built into that. I'm naturally built into acquire things and to be resourceful and to attract things, like to make my life easier. My neurodivergency allowed me to constantly be interconnected with people. I'm typically by myself, independently by myself, but for a lot of things that I needed to survive, whether it be business, whether it be my livelihood or whatever, I always had people around me who could support me in various ways. Even though I didn't know I was doing it consciously, I always had people that invited me to trips. I had no money all through college. I had no money. And I would have people invite me to trips, invite me, out of the country or whatever, fully paid for. People who just send me gifts or whatever. I had that magnetism to be able to always have for one, to be able to sow seeds into people where people want to do that for me. Let's be clear about that. Let's start there. I was so good to people that there was always people who wanted to bless me. There was always people who wanted to help me out. There was always somebody who believed in my vision and wanted to support me in some way. And because of that, I had thought that because I had been surrounded by, later on in life, I was surrounded by people who shamed me for that. I struggled with it because I'm like, well, am I a leech? Am I, a user? Like, am I the taker? Like, because that's what people would make it seem like. But I'm like, no, because I literally emotionally showed up for you. I mentally show up for you every single day, and people don't respect the feminine principle of contribution to stuff. People don't respect the feminine contribution to stuff. That feminine energy that I brought you a smile on your face today. I didn't have to. When we say reciprocity is not necessarily I buy you something, you buy me something. Reciprocity is you needed emotional support, and I sat here through 4 or 5 hours of you crying. I held space for you. I gave you support. I gave you advice. And in the exchange of that, might have you been wanting to reciprocate that by giving me something material. But I was exchange of that, might have you been wanting to reciprocate that by giving me something material. But I wasn't taking anything that I hadn't sown into. People don't just hand out their hard-earned money. And most importantly, I rarely had to ask. That's what made it the difference. I rarely had to ask. People would just bless me out of nowhere or offer me something out of nowhere. So you're not being overlooked. You're unavailable to receive. If people aren't ready to give you opportunities, if people aren't ready to just bless you and to be a resource for you, if that is not happening, you're being overlooked because you have blockages, and the blockages are coming from you constantly wanting to overdo or overperform. When people think because still using myself as an example, because I always showed up for people mentally and emotionally, people never thought that I needed to be supported mentally and emotionally. Thank you, love. People never thought that I needed that type of support. People never thought that I needed that type of help because I always felt like I had it all figured out. I didn't have it all figured out. I'm just a logical person and I'm intuitive. So a lot of times my advice to you was spirit led. Whether I knew about it consciously or not, a lot of me holding space was because that was my nature. That's what I do naturally. But I was being overlooked in other areas where I may have been overperforming in that area of trying to be that voice of reason for people, or trying to give advice when it was unsolicited, trying to solve problems when somebody just wanted to listen. Those things and those areas, I might have overperformed in those areas, and then I would be overlooked for things that I actually wanted. I always had what I needed. But the things that I might have wanted, I might not have been able to attract it as fast. Does that make sense? If y'all following, if this makes sense, make sure y'all double tap the screen. Thank you so much, love. Ashe, that is the reciprocity. So part 4, this is the actual shift. Number 1, how many I got? I got three actual practices for y'all to do, or for you to be conscious of. Number 1, micro safety practice. Before you act, pause and ask, is this coming from pressure or pleasure? Is this coming from pressure or pleasure? Pressure meaning that, do I have to meet a deadline? Are you doing it out of survival? If this doesn't happen, is the world going to collapse? Am I going to be homeless? Is it something that makes you feel pressured to do it? I have to go to work. I have to be at this job because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, and I'm not going to be like, do you feel pressured to do it? Or is it your pleasure? Is it your pleasure to go to this place? Not to say you don't need to work to make money, but do you get pleasure from what you're doing to make money? That's the difference in what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you don't need to work. You don't work, you don't eat. But do you get pleasure from what you're actually trying to do to make money? If you hate what you do to make money, then 9 times out of 10, you're out of survival and you're out of alignment and you're going to overwork yourself. This is why the 9 to 5 mentality doesn't work for most people. Nothing's wrong with working class, because there's some people who show up and love what they do at their jobs. But the vast majority of people hate what they're doing and they're just there for a check. And those are the people who are out of alignment. Those are the people who are struggling and overperforming and living still check to check and still have blockages and can't expand in their career. They can't expand in their relationships. They can't expand in anything that's going to push the needle forward, because you have a blockage with receiving. You have a blockage with receiving. You don't have a problem giving, because you're giving out of performance thinking. This is why I say people pleasers are not narcissistic as well. People who are people pleasers are very narcissistic because they're not doing it because they genuinely care. Despite what it might look like, despite what it might feel like, the psychology of a people pleaser, you're not doing it because you genuinely care. You're doing it because you genuinely want somebody to give that same love back to you. You genuinely want somebody to consider you the same way you consider them. This is why when people are people pleasers down the road, they're like, after all I did for you, this is how you treat me? Why are you counting? If you genuinely wanted to do it, why are you counting all the things that you did for me? If it was your pleasure to do those things for me, you're not keeping tabs on it. But because you only did it because you want it, people say, treat people how you want to be treated. Yes. But to the degree of not manipulation. I'm treating you how I want to be treated. And if you don't reciprocate that, then I'll no longer continue to treat you, to allow you in my space, period. That's the difference versus someone who is trying to use the model, treat people how you want to be treated, but you're not being treated reciprocal. You're not being treated the way you're wanted to be treated. And you stay there trying to convince somebody that you're worthy of whatever you're trying to receive from them. You're staying at a job that you've been there for 4 or 5 years and you haven't gotten a raise yet. They keep telling you're doing great. We just got one better content, one better, they only beat you by one score. You continue to stay there, you continue to overperform, and you continue to do more than you're overqualified to do, but you continue to do more than you're being paid for because you're still trying to prove a point to somebody outside of yourself. You said, but what if you are noble, kind, and giving, and people are clearly wiping their feet on you? That's still you. You're allowing it. You're allowing it. That's the boundary. That's what we talked about last week. Understanding boundaries and actually setting real boundaries. Hey, love. Welcome, welcome. Real boundaries are not for anybody other than you. When you have real boundaries, you can say, I give because I love to give. I give because I love to see people smile. I love to hear success stories. I love to and people who you've been following me for a long time, y'all know I don't care nothing. Money does not move me in the least bit away. It does not move me. I'll send you a refund quick if you get on my nerve. If the energy don't match, I will quickly give you your money back. Because it's never about the money. It's about the transformation. If you're not coachable, I will give you your money back because you're not about to waste my time and still don't get the results. Hey, love. Welcome, welcome. It says, so relatable working through this with my therapist, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your question, love? So when you don't have boundaries and you're allowing people with, if I want to give, if I'm a giving person, if I'm someone who loves to share information, at some point I still have to say, I'm only giving you this information. My little sister, for example, she'll tell you, because she has access to the girl, so I'm very strict with my sisters. I'm more strict with my sisters than I am my clients, because you got this in your blood too. Okay. Okay, so you said, is name Oshun or who you believe in, or both? Neither. It's not my name, and I don't necessarily believe in her, but I do practice Orisha practices, if that's what you're asking. Yes. But when you say believe in her, like, it's not her religion. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, that is my religious practice. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, so my sister, she when I give her information, she'll be frustrated because she'll come back a week later. Mind you, when she asks me a question, I answer her question, and she's cool with it, until she comes back like a week later and she was like, so what about is this and this? And I give her more information, and she was like, well, why you ain't just say that when I asked you the first time? And I'm like, because I answered your question. My boundary is, I give you more information when you do something with the information I've already given you, because I love to share. And I had to learn that oversharing with people who have no value, have no intention on valuing that information by doing something with it, changing their life, doing more research on their own. When I give information and people aren't listening, now I'm exhausted because I'm throwing my pearls to swine. Welcome, love. So when she gives me a counter something, and you go and ask me follow-up questions, I know that you went into and you read more of what I already told you. So I'm happy to give you more information. But I'm not going to give you all of that right now, because then you're going to miss the steps of putting the pieces together yourself. Nah, we can't be throwing our pearls to swine. That's overperforming. To bring it back full circle, that's one of the steps of overperforming. So we have to ask ourselves, is this coming from pleasure, or is it coming from pressure? If it's coming from pleasure, then yes, I can give you what I want out of pleasure. I can share this information with you. I can help you on this project. I can help you do this, and this, because it's my pleasure to do it. But I have to have a boundary with it, because if I don't have a boundary, my pleasure, my gifts, what I naturally innately want to do to serve is now going to become a burden. And then you're going to have those type of people who are like, oh, well, I hate that I'm so sensitive. Oh, I don't know why my heart is so big. I hate this, that I'm so empathetic. I hate this. No, you're drained because you're overperforming. You haven't set up a system of boundaries. You haven't set up a system of boundaries to be able to protect your gift. People don't just keep coming and asking you for stuff just because you're available. Well, they do, but they're asking because you have some type of expertise that they want to that they value. Whether they're going to admit it or not, it's something that they value. It's something that they appreciate, and they trust your judgment in some way, shape, or form. So especially if you're not monetizing it, you definitely need to be protecting it at the very least. Number 2, receiving drill. I need us to get in the habit of learning to receive. Let someone do something small for you without correcting it. Let someone help you without correcting them. I had to learn this in business. When I did the first 3 years of my business, I was doing everything myself, like, because I'm mixing my own Yanni steams. They're customized blends. I intuitively do it, so I can't necessarily put it on paper because I'm doing it intuitively. So I'm like, how I'm gonna hire somebody and let them do my help me mix the blends when I'm doing it. The ancestors giving me this blend, so I'm supposed to do that. And I struggled with delegation for 3 years. Then I got an assistant. And although she wasn't mixing my herbs for me, that was one less thing. All the other things that came with my business, she could handle that so that I could focus on the part that couldn't nobody else do. But we have to learn how to receive without correcting, because control, it starts with con for a reason. It's manipulation. And if it's you who's trying to control things, that you don't make it any better. When you have the mindset that you have to be in control of everything, you have to be in control of where y'all eat at. You have to be in control of your relationship and the way that they love you. You have to be in control. Oh, this is my love language. If you don't love me this way, then you don't love me. But what if this is their love language? What if they have to learn how to love you in that way? But this is how they genuinely show up and show love. How are you going to control how somebody want to love you? I might not be the person who, I know for sure, I'm typically not the person who's going to love people the way they're used to be loved, the way they're used to being loved, or the way that they want to be loved. But my love is real. My love comes with correction. My love comes with progress. My love comes with stability. It's structure. I am a quadruple Capricorn. Your life is going to get better being in my presence. And I don't say that arrogantly. That's a fact. Your life is going to improve with you being in proximity to me. So I'm not going to take that lightly and act like anybody is welcome to be around me. I'm not going to take that lightly and act like I just allow people who have, everybody ain't perfect. I'm not perfect. But if you are in my proximity, there is a standard that I require for this relationship to work. And the same thing for some of my friends, like they're really touchy-feely. I'm earth down. Back up, sister. But when I have friends who are like really huggy, touchy, love you, kisses, all of that, I have to let them love me the way they want to love me. I can't expect them to be hard body, like, because that's the balance that we give to each other in a relationship. They don't come to me expecting me to be all lovey-dovey and touchy, although I work on the balance of being that way. I don't want to just always be one way and be hard in one way. I work on that balance. But they don't come to me expecting that type of love from me. They know that their love, my genuine love, is advice that is going to transform your situation. My genuine love is bringing logic to a situation that you might be overly emotional in. I'm going to help you see it from a clear picture. So I noticed for me, it was a trauma response trying to control. That's exactly what control is. That's exactly what control is. That's all it is. It's trauma. Because if you look at babies are the least thing in the world that you can control. You cannot control children. You cannot control babies, I should say. You can learn how to control children after you've programmed them to be how you want them to be for your comfort. But if you just allow babies and toddlers to be themselves, you cannot control them. But you have the most love for them and the most protection for them. That's how we should be in every relationship, allowing people to be who they are. You said, I don't want everybody's energy all on me. Okay. Say that. I had to learn it the hard way too. Even in how I show up online. Because I used to be on here, y'all. If you, one of my, my OGs, we used to be on here rocking and rolling to about 4:00 in the morning, and I'm just spitting, spirit, just using me, moving. People getting blessed, people getting readings, 4, 5, 6 hour live streams. And then I wake up the next day exhausted and still have to do the readings that people booked from the night before. So this is like really a 12-hour live stream because I'm still in the energy of the live when I'm doing those readings. I had to learn to set boundaries. And it took me getting off of here completely for 2 years because I still was trying to do it in a way of trying to just gradually come back. Okay, y'all, let me be on here for an hour. But I had programmed my spirits to, when I hit the play, y'all take over. So I had no control. You have to set boundaries in the spirit realm too. This ain't just if we really being real. You have to set boundaries in the spirit realm too. Because I had programmed them that anytime I press play, y'all take over and let's get to work. And so they just dropping them. I'm like, hold up. I'm 3 hours in, hold up. So I had to completely shut all of it off. You said, any advice on focus? I feel exhausted all the time and I want to be high functioning. And it's, girl, you asking the wrong person. So you start mistaking others. Oh, that is tea. Let me answer sister girl's question first. Focus, baby girl. I have ADHD, so I'm the last person you want to ask about focus. I have ADHD, and what I'm learning, because last year I really went through the processes of like my mental health. I did a lot of that work last year, and I found out that I'm autistic and I have ADHD. I've been on I had ADHD, but adding the autism to it made it more sense because my stages of grief, I was angry for a long time when I had that diagnosis. I was very angry because I, in my degree is in psychology and rehabilitation studies. I've studied a lot of mental health, and that's how I knew that I had ADHD. But not attaching autism to it, it made me in constant conflict with myself. Because if I'm reading my natal chart as a quadruple Capricorn, it says I'm very structured, very focused, very goal oriented, all of those things, right? And then I'm looking at my actual behaviors and the ADHD. I'm like, where is the structure? Where is the organization? Where is all of this stuff that y'all saying that I am? Because I am not that. And so the adding the autism to it made it make sense because I'm in constant battle. If you know anything about autism and ADHD, they're literally the complete opposites of each other. My autism wants everything to be structured, orderly, and all of that, which I am. I am very structured in order in things that in how I order it. But on paper, into the outside world and what society and neurotypical people have structured it to be, it doesn't look like that. But I was comparing myself to what they look like as structure and order. And so back to overperforming, I was overperforming, trying to get a certain schedule, trying to be in order with a certain cleaning schedule, with a certain my money habits and things like that. Although I still had to learn those things, the main thing that pushed the needle was regulating my nervous system. Regulating my nervous system allowed me to be comfortable in who I am. There's nothing wrong with being neurodivergent. There's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum. I have helped hundreds of women, if not thousands of women, with the services that I provide, with being unmedicated, with being undiagnosed, all of those things. I was able to serve at a high level in doing that. I just have to bring some structure to it. And I had to get clear on the behavioral things that happen with that. A lot of the diet, a lot of, sugars and what the things that we do to get dopamine rush. I just had to shift those things to things that were actually helping me versus things that were harming me. So if you are aroused in a certain way, or you have, need a dopamine rush, instead of smoking, drinking, or, overindulging in food or eating sugar, all of those things, doing something more productive, like, going for a walk, burning some type of calories, dancing, doing something, shooting content just to get the energy out, whatever, just choosing better habits. He said, I have dyslexia with anxiety and depression, and I'm a Sag, Libra move. I feel stressed out all the time, even when I'm calm. You're not calm. You're not calm. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. Say, good even did my husband. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of women having your baseline is survival. So you feel like you're calm, but your baseline is not calm. Your nervous system is not calm. It's not calm at all. It's far from it. Your cortisol levels are probably still high. And that's the reason why you feel like, yeah, because my body is still, you think that that's calm. But trauma lives in your muscles. Trauma lives in your fat cells. Trauma lives in your blood. It's not about if your heart is beating fast or not. And a lot of times I used to think that too, like, well, I'm calm right now, but my mind is thinking of 100,000 thoughts at once. And I'm like, well, I'm calm though. I could be still. I'm not, needing to get around and do something. I'm still calm. I'm not calm because I experienced real calmness. And when I experienced real calmness, my mind was quiet for the first time. And the first time I ever remember it ever being quiet. I'm like, wow, this is quiet. And I didn't need any type of substance. I like natural things, even if I am taking some type of substance. I like natural products, but I didn't take any substance or whatever. It was simply calming my nervous system. It was simply calming my nervous system. You're tired, you're exhausted because you're overperforming in a world that was not designed for you. For one, it wasn't designed for you to thrive in. And it's definitely systematically hindering you because if you're trying to perform in a setting that's not conducive to your wellness, if it's not supporting your growth, if it's not supporting something that makes you smile. Again, we're talking about pleasure over pressure. If it's not bringing you pleasure. And I was wondering, how did I even manage? If I look back at all the things that I've done, all the events that I've had, all of the things being like a solo entrepreneur, I'm like, how did I manage to even pull all of this off with the brain that I have? And it's because I did anything and everything that gave me pleasure. That gave me energy. That gave me energy. That gave me purpose. That gave me light. And I didn't feel drained doing the work. Even when I think about all of the stuff that I used to do, it gives me anxiety because I'm like, how was I even thinking of being on live longer than an hour gives me anxiety. Thinking of getting on live without having my notes already planned out here and knowing what I'm going to be discussing gives me anxiety. Because all of those things I was doing out of survival. To me, I was thinking, oh, that's regular. It's cool. I can just get on live and just go and flow because that's what I was used to doing. But it was out of survival. It was a lack of structure. So I've been looking for pleasure, but I feel irritated and annoyed. You don't look for pleasure. You discover it through your senses. You discover it through your senses. And so I encourage you all to, if this is hitting for you, if it did hit for you, if anything resonated with you, I want you to really, for one, take into account. Did I give you the last one? Nope. Let me give you the last one. The womb awareness is number 3. Place your hand on your womb and breathe. Let your body soften instead of bracing. That's the first part. A lot of people don't, get into meditation and breath work and say those things don't work. They say it doesn't work because they for one, don't do it long enough to see the results. And for two, they don't really understand what's happening when you're doing that. When you don't do it long enough to see the results, and I'm not just talking about doing it for a month, I'm talking about in that one setting. Hey, Katavi, welcome, babes. You said pass out in meditation. That's because that's what your body needs at the time. But you'll get to a point where you don't go to sleep because you want to be in that awareness of calmness, not calming all the way down to go to sleep. even though that's helpful at the time because that's what your body is asking for. But you'll get to a point where you're calming down, and you don't resonate calmness with I need to go to sleep. You resonate calmness with being your baseline. So people don't realize that meditation state is our natural state. Right. That's what I mean. That's the baseline. That's the baseline. That's what we're striving for. That's what I now teach in my womb wealth programs. I'm teaching you how to get a baseline of the meditative state. No, your natural state is the meditative state. You're going to sleep because you associate with being calmness with it's time to go to sleep. You're not associating that type of calmness with I can be at this state all day long without having to go to sleep. But yes, you're supposed to be in a state of being that relaxed all day long. Nothing should have you, again, other than actual trauma, actual things that are of an alert, survival things that are actually happening. Nobody's saying to be calm when you're being chased by a dog. Nobody's saying to be calm when you just got in a car wreck. But those are circumstantial things that arises that adrenaline and it'll arise certain things that allows you to, bring that energy up. But that should not be your natural state. It should not be your natural state. So, again, magnetism is not what you do. It is what you allow. It's not what you do, it's what you allow. When you allow yourself to be calm, when you allow yourself to be present, when you allow yourself to be to feel and experience pleasure, then you are now in a state to receive, because that is feminine power. So meditation is actually the opposite of sleep. It is a hyper aware. Yes. Speak it. It actually is. It literally is. I love how you said that. It's the opposite of sleep. So I want you to really, if this resonates with you, I really encourage you to book a reset call. I really encourage you to book a reset call. In that reset call, I would prefer that you get the Womb Wealth pink print first, so that you can take the assessment and see what archetype you are, and see where your blockages are, see where your ancestral lineage has been playing out this same cycle, and how to do it. Like the pink print gives you all of that, and it's completely complimentary. Is in my link tree. I advise you to get that first, and then book a reset call so we can go over your assessment and actually get you from point A to point B within the next 7 days. You're going to figure out what are your identity blocks. You're going to figure out how to regulate your system. And then I'm going to give you a personalized shift on how to actually move the meter from what you've been doing generically to what you can do now, because you have another sense of awareness. So I love your vibe. I'm so happy I found your account. Thank you. I love that you are here and for dropping the gems. We not stingy with the gems over here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're not on my mailing list, I really, really encourage you to go ahead and get on that. You can get on the mailing list by go ahead and getting the pink print blueprint, the Womb Wealth pink print, because I am launching the Womb Wealth Collective on Wednesday, and I have grants for the first 5 people who book the reset call. So I want you to not miss out on that, because I'm offering grants to the Womb Wealth Collective, and that is going to be launching in the summertime. This summer, we are on a deep recalibration, because the summertime, that's when people get rowdy. That's when people be outside. That's when people be, overexhausted, overextended. Children out of school, getting on their nerves all day, So we're going to make sure we have a really regulated summer, okay? is the womb kit. The womb wealth pink print. It is complimentary. It's in my link tree in the bio. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You said I'm an indoor person. Well, obviously that's not helping you being indoors. You still got a unregulated nervous system. So we got you. We got you for the indoor people. I'm in Texas, so I don't be outside. I'm lying. I do be outside, but I like the heat. I like the sun. I don't like being in the mix, but I definitely like being outside in nature. My events being my events be a little bit of both. The event itself is always inside, but we gonna always have some type of excursion that's outside. And most of the time, my events are in different locations. Is either in different states around the nation. I've had a couple international retreats, so they're in a different location every time. I don't go to the same place twice to do my retreats. You said I'm a two spirit, or what the kids call non-binary. Not what the kids call. And I love that because what we call it in my world is androgyny. And that's the highest form of God form. So I love that. I love that. Let me know if you want to hold the van at my place in California. Hold the van? The event? Is that what you meant? DM me, please. Please, please, please. Because I have not found. I don't usually choose the retreat until we start the cohort. Let me be clear on that. I don't choose them prior because I have to feel the energy of the people that's in there. And so when I feel the energy of the people in there, then spirit guides me on where to go after that. So yeah, we do events on my sanctuary animal ranch. Oh yes, please DM me. I would love that. I would love, love, love that. I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. But again, the retreats be everywhere. The actual program is virtual. So it doesn't matter where you're located. The programs are always virtual, but my retreats are how I connect after we've been together for, 3 to 6 months. Is just my way of still meeting everybody in person and us still doing the closing parts of, the sealing what you've learned over the time. Oh, I love that. Please, please, please. Let's link up with that. I've been saying I want to do a tour, but I think I'm gonna wait and do the tour when I finish my initiations and finish going through all of my spiritual elevations for security purposes. And so that I can openly be out because I can't, be in close proximity with people and do as much hands-on work as I want to do right now without having my elders with me. So yes, I only do spiritual and wellness events. So I would love to do that. I'm so serious. Please DM me so that with the information for that so that I can, talk to spirit and see what we can put together. And if we want to collab with an event, we can definitely do that. I'm not sure what services and stuff that you provide, but definitely let me know all of that in the DM as well. Y'all, I am 22 minutes past my meeting. So I'm going to let y'all go. But thank y'all so much for vibing with me today. I really appreciate y'all's energy. Um, Child, who is this? So I'm in Gilroy. It's a little town south of San Jose, Silicon Valley. Okay, I have a homegirl who used to stay out in Silicon Valley. So yeah, this should be great. I love it. I love it. I love it. But thank y'all so much. Please make sure that y'all get the Womb Wealth Pink print from the link tree in my bio. It's completely complimentary. And after you take the assessment, book the reset call so that we can actually do some real work. I'm not here for the passive bypassers who want to get the free stuff and don't want to do the actual work, the integration of what you actually learn. I want to make sure that you're getting the full benefit of what I'm providing for you. Even though the pink print is very detailed and you're going to get a lot, it's a 7-day journey within that pink print. I still want to make sure that you're getting the full experience and transformation that you need. All right. So y'all have a blessed night.